Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 21st day, Friday, Football Friday, Pick'em Friday, whatever you want to call it. Thank God it's Friday, right? Going to talk about this Christian McCaffrey trade here in a little bit with Mad New Yorker. Also going to go over uh, our picks last week. I'll talk to him a little bit about the Tennessee game as soon as he pops up here. He hasn't popped up yet, but we'll go over that. Also, talk about Denver. Uh, we got the situation there. Is Russell Wilson going to play? Is he not going to play? Uh, we'll go over that. And Oregon. Chip Kelly is coming back to Oregon, and UCLA looks really good right now. They're playing really well. Probably the hottest team right now in the Pac-12, UCLA. But Oregon's starting to play a lot better since their beat down that they took from Georgia on opening weekend, but they've got it back together. Had a really good win a few weeks ago against BYU and whatnot. We'll get into that, but first, I want to get in my quick commercial break here. I don't like to do it at the beginning of the program because when I put it on Facebook, it looks like I'm showing the same show over and over. So I'll be back in about 1 minute and 19 seconds here as soon as I get to this, and then we'll get started with today's show. Hello, Sports Scope followers. After 5 years of doing this program once a week, balancing a 60-hour work week job, I've decided to do the program 5 days a week, 1 hour a night, taking a significant pay cut. So I've started a Patreon page, which is Patreon, Patreon/SportsScope, spelled the same way at the bottom of the screen you see there. For $5 a month, 17 cents a day, you can help support the program. You ask yourself, why Sports Scope? Well, I bring in such big names such as Al Borges, former Auburn offensive coordinator, and I cover the big news in sports that the corporate media will not cover. If you want to contribute more than $5 a month, you can go use the Cash App. The cash tag is Sports Scope, again, spelled the same way. Or you can go to the Zelle app, sportscope@gmail.com. SportsScope has about 5,000 followers and growing. If you want to advertise on the program, you can email me. The word is SportsScope, spelled the same way again, @gmail.com. Thank you and enjoy the program. Okay, I'm live here now with perfect timing here, Mad New Yorker, Carlos Chavez. Let me ask you about this biggest trade. Kind of popped up late last night.
Already?
With Christian McCaffrey, man, they gave up, the 49ers give up a second, a third, a fourth, plus.
Yeah, keep going. More.
Fifth round pick in 2024. 2024 draft there. They give up a whole lot. And let me read this real quick. This is something interesting I got off of Spot Track in regards to that. Remember what I tell you guys about, you watch my show all the time, and we talked about this, about giving these running backs a big bunch of money in their second contract. My philosophy is don't give any running backs. If you want to give them a fifth-year option, that's fine. I know Derrick Henry's kind of turned out okay, but they didn't break the bank for Henry. But check this out. Pickles is here. He says, hello, Mr. Carlos. Check this out. This is from Spot Track. Okay. They cover the contracts in the NFL. It's called Spot Track, and mainly contracts in professional sports. Spot Track says the Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey has earned $38.5 million over the past season and a half for 16 games of action. Okay. They have paid him $38.5 million for 2.5 seasons, but he's only played 16 and a half games. So if you look at that, that is basically Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, what Josh Allen type of money that they paid this running back who's hurt all the time. That's what I say about not giving these running backs the big chunk of money in that second contract. Now, I do like the fact what they got for McCaffrey, and I do think that this does take some heat off of Deebo Samuel. Looks like a lot of the guys are getting healthy for San Francisco, including Trent Williams. What do you think about this trade?
Don't ask me that. You don't want my answer. You really want to know?
I'm sure you don't like it, but
so the reality is we got to take it to the core of the situation for San Francisco. It's a Shanahan system, the one that I oppose, the one that's copycat throughout the whole league, is a situation that is bad for everybody on that team on the offense, except for the actual quarterback, who gets high ratings for short passes and decent throws down the open field every once in a while, because that's made for them. It's made for the quarterback to read defenses a lot easier and get the ball out of their hands quicker. That being said, Deebo Samuel right now is a man that's been moved around like a tool type player, and so now you're going to bring in McCaffrey to let Deebo Samuel be more of a wide receiver, like someone also another weapon for Garoppolo. Now, here's a problem, and I say this, and people get mad at me. You get upset at me too. and if you take it back to the old days, running backs like Barry Sanders, even Walter Payton, they made blocks, but they were not blocking running backs. They didn't have to, because they had an O-line making holes for them, and they was quick enough to get to the second line and pass the second line.
Yeah.
This is a player that needs to have an O-line and an opportunity to make those kind of runs. He's quick enough. He's smart enough. He just needs to get there. Here's a problem. Can San Francisco stay healthy in the O-line, and do they have plays that are designed for McCaffrey to be someone that will, that can actually work in this system? Everybody's saying yes. I don't think so, because the problem with the Shanahan system, and this is what I've been telling everybody, is like everybody on that O-line, everybody who's going to be in that play, you have to be 100% healthy. If you don't think that's true, look at Kittle right now. Kittle's not 100% healthy, and he's not even making any numbers right now because of his health. So, and the only one benefiting for that is the guy who everybody's throwing under the bus over there in San Francisco is Jimmy Garoppolo, right? All he does is win.
I think they got that use check guy that they use for full.
Yeah, but he's not. But they don't even use him properly, because they'll put him on the wide, put him outside in the sweep to do little dink and dunk passes. So this guy needs to actually be blocking for Garoppolo. No, he needs to be with the O-line actually doing a fullback job. They need an actual fullback. And if they don't want to use a fullback, stop putting an extra tight end in there and put an O-lineman back there, so make sure that you get protection, because that's what Jimmy needs. He's a pocket passer who needs extra protection, and McCaffrey's not that extra protection. He's not.
No, they don't definitely need to use him like that.
So to me, it's like they took 2 steps forward. Now they're taking 2 steps back, because they got a player that is actually could do a lot of things for your team. However, your team isn't designed for him at the moment. And the Panthers team was kind of designed for it. They just couldn't keep a healthy O-line to help him, break from the first tackle to get him to the second line of defense. Right. So, my feelings for this situation is that he's going to be on a better team. But if they don't use his skill set and they're putting him there to block for Garoppolo, he's going to end up injured anyways. And it's money well spent for the Panthers getting those picks than it is for San Francisco getting a player that could actually take them to the next level. So this is all dependent on Shanahan not using his system and actually using a running system that will work to his favor.
Yeah, he lacks big plays, and I noticed Ayuk had a big game last week. Now they did lose to Atlanta last week. He lacks big plays. That's the problem when you play that real physical system like he does. Those 12, 15 play, when you do enough of that, you're starting to wear people down. Your right tackle's hurt all the time. Laklitsky, now Trent Williams. Now he's supposed to be back this week, but they're constantly got injuries on their offensive line, and Kittle. So that is an issue. They need to do more splash plays, big plays, kind of like a team they're playing this weekend in Kansas City. emulate a little bit of that. If they don't win the Super Bowl, I'll say this year. Now I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. I think they still got a really good chance in the preseason. But if they don't win the Super Bowl this year and next year, they don't have any. By the way, they don't have practically no draft picks next year. Miami's got their first round, and the rest of them are going to the Carolina Panthers practically. This is kind of like the Sean McVay, Matt Stafford trade, where you give up a lot. If you don't win the Super Bowl, what they did, fortunately for them, I could see Mr. York there, the owner, getting frustrated with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, especially after they gave up so much for what's his name, Trent, the quarterback, Trent, whatever.
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, yeah, Trey Lance. So the option is win the Super Bowl this year.
And listen, year. McVay won. He finally won.
Yeah, he won the Super Bowl.
They won the Super Bowl because they threw so much money to all kinds of players. They didn't win because they had such a great offense. You know, mind you, Arnold had one of the best games ever as well. So I mean, Donald, he had one of the best games ever. So that system that he's working over there, he got lucky that in that short amount of time replacing Woods with Odell Beckham, and then giving them Cooper Kupp playing out of his mind,
yep.
and actually figuring out that he's the guy that he's a go-to guy. They didn't win because they're a great team. They won because they got lucky. And McVay, that saved his job. But look at them now. They lost all these players.
They have a splash play guy. And oh God, he just mentioned the guy's name there.
Kupp?
Cooper Kupp. Yeah, he's a splash play.
Yeah, but that's not consistent enough for them to go back to the Super Bowl.
Well, no, their line is way banged up too. Noteboom's out for the season. Their left tackle, and their Whitworth. Prior to that, he's already retired. And
Akers isn't running well. He's not doing well either. So
yeah. Well, no, he's going to be gone.
Yeah,
he's going to be gone. That guy, there's something happened with him. He's on the trading block. The trading deadline is in November. So we've got about 2 more weeks of this. Spot Track tweets out Christian McCaffrey, Jeff Wilson, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle at $19.75 million. Fun if healthy is what Spot Track tweets out. And that's true because these guys can't stay healthy. And I like the fact that he did put that out there, the creator of this Spot Track. Yeah, so that's the thing, man. They're going to need splash plays. Can they do it this year? Possibly, but that is you got a quarterback that's not healthy all the time either. That's why they got Trey Lance, and then he's unhurt. There's something that Shanahan is doing.
It's not water in San Francisco off the bay, man. It's not filtered right down there, man.
Maybe that's and there's too many long drives there with Shanahan, and people thought I was crazy. There is after the Denver game, there is a real possibility that he could get canned in the next year or two. And definitely, I know Arizona won last night, but Cliff Kingsbury, he's on fire watch too. That's just the reality of this business, man.
I mean, the thing is that these guys
to get fired.
They're playing those They're playing the college whiteout, RPO options, and they're killing guys that are.
Oh, you're going to get blasted eventually doing that.
Yeah, especially nowadays that these guys are fast and quick, but they're not big. So.
Oh yeah, and they were running the old-fashioned option with Arizona a couple of weeks ago. That wasn't even the RPO option where you're just doing it from shotgun. He was running down the field doing that. And that's real dangerous, the old-fashioned option, because you're a target then, because you're running right there with the linebackers and stuff. So,
you saw the return of the wide receiver coming back, and that's Hopkins coming back. That's a huge help for
they
Murray
played well.
Yeah,
and they got the one, and they may go on a run. See, the West is wide. That division's wide open. Why? Especially,
we got Geno Smith going to take it to the house, right? He's going to take it. He's going to take Seattle and make him a Super Bowl run, right?
They still can't stop anybody on the road. I think. So last week, let's go over last week real quick. We both basically tied on everything. You won 2, I won 2. We both were wrong about Baltimore. The Giants there beating the Giants there beating the Ravens. Another big comeback for the Giants. I think the Giants game's one of the top games this week.
They had me on blast, some in the locker room or something.
Man,
I said, this guy don't got no faith in us. Change his mind. No, they're not changing my mind. They might be 5-1, but they're not gonna. I don't think they'll make a playoff wild card.
So I'm 15-12. You're 14-13.
Yeah,
we both had Michigan. What do you think about that Tennessee game? I haven't really spoke to you on the air. It turned out to be as advertised. I don't think we gave it too much time last week. We delivered, man.
Yeah, and you told me to get on the pod, get off, and I went ahead and I picked Tennessee, and
I had to twist your arm to do it. I should have told you to take Alabama so I could get 2-game lead on you.
So I was kind of happy about that, because Josh Heupel, all he does is, I tell you, wherever he goes, he wins, man, and he's got that winning mentality, and it rubs off on people, and that's the kind of coaching that you need. Not just somebody that barks out orders, but somebody that's been there, somebody that can take you there, and somebody can take you over the top. And that's what Tennessee's been missing. This whole crap with Dooley and brick by brick with Jones and just you can name them all down the list, and and Tennessee fans just wide-eyed, ready for winning. And now we have it. Now UT has it. Fan base has it, and we still kind of have a little bit of trepidation, and that's okay, because that happens because you haven't been a winning school. But what I look for this week against Martin, and it's not a huge, it's a different division.
Yeah,
it's not it's a huge opportunity for Tennessee to work on running the ball, using the clock.
Yeah, get
the special teams straightened out, getting some of their players back. The wide receiver, getting him some routes. Getting him in. You want to kick these guys in the teeth. Yeah. You don't have to make them bleed, but you want to kick them in the teeth. You want to, they're going to give you competition too. Don't think that Martin's going to lay down and give you the game. So, but just be ready and work on what you need to work on, and they'll be okay. They don't need to go too wild, because they need to work on setting their offense and taking time away from the clock, because I feel like it's going to give them more help when they play Kentucky the week after that. So and I think that was a well of a win. Now I will say this about Heupel. Josh Heupel, I was very, very skeptical of him coming in. But why, Robert? Everywhere he goes, he's won as a college player.
Well, he's won
as a coach everywhere.
As a quarterback for Oklahoma, but at UCF, his record when he took over for Scott Frost, 1 loss, season 1, then 3, then 6. His record got progressively worse at UCF.
So did all the recruits. They kept going over to Clemson and Alabama, and you're talking about.
I'm just telling you what
Yeah, you can't keep those Florida kids in Florida. They want that now so-called NIL money. So they're gonna get it.
Well, I'm just telling you, I think my skepticism was reasonable due to the fact that the team went downhill like that when he stayed there. Plus, I don't know if you realize this, but the same athletic director from UCF, Tennessee hires this Danny White guy and makes him the athletic director here. So he goes out and just hires his former head coach there.
The Giants did that. I have the same feeling about the Giants, because they did that with the Buffalo Bills, and I'm like,
you feel like they didn't really put any effort into looking for a head coach. I'm just telling the audience my skepticism coming in, and I'm pleasantly surprised here, But my thing is, people were asking me at work, all around town. This is a big buzz. You're seeing orange signs everywhere. A pumpkin sign with the big orange sign. It's just orange, orange, orange. That is the color. Reese's Pieces orange. You name it, man. I mean, throwing the goalpost in a river. There was a player that hit a woman, and that it was a fan on the field for Alabama. They're looking into that. So a lot is blown out from this. Right. A lot of backlash has come out from this. It was a really big game. We'll be talking about it 25 years from now, I think.
Well, look, Robert, what I don't understand, and Tennessee fans, you guys got to jump on this. Your school needs to pay for new field goals, man. What are you doing asking the fans who are on the field having fun, asking more boosters to pay for field goal? Come on, man. If I'm the athletic director, I'm like, take a pay cut, take the free field goal post, replace them, man. I don't care. Like, come on, why would you? It makes the school sound like they don't even make enough money to cover costs to mow the lawn, man. Come on.
Oh, they're doing really well.
So why are you asking for money? Why are they asking for money?
I don't know. Well, everybody's asking for money. Saban's asking for money. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's just ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous.
He's calling out Jimbo Fisher, asking him for money. Remember that stuff back in May?
Yeah, but I'm talking about that the field goal posts were wrecked by the students.
When I went to the tell this to the audience too, when I went to the game back in 2016 when they beat Florida for the first time since 2004 or whatever, I think he was there 2006, 5 or whatever. They had police standing by the field goal post, and they didn't let anybody run on the field like that. Now that was a different AD. That was Butch Jones. I like the fact that they won big. I wouldn't let that happen again. Things can happen. There's injuries. I understand it looks great on TV.
It's a pageantry, man.
Huh?
It's the pageantry of the situation.
Oh, pageantry.
Like, come on, man. It's 110,000 fans.
Yeah.
You can only stop so many.
Yeah. But
you'll be bitter because you should have been there.
That.
Rob, you should have been there.
No. No, it's too much hassle. It's 3 hours there, 3 hours back. Austin invited me to a party this weekend, and he's still on that orange high.
Isn't he got a piece of field goal post?
I don't know. They threw it in a river. I would kind of like to go find that. Yeah. But anyways, I think it was a great game. I think they have a shot to beat Florida in a few weeks and potentially win. This could be a potential like an LSU 2019 team. This could be a 2010, maybe Auburn type of team where everything just seems to be working out in their favor right now. If they can get somewhat healthy defensively, Hooker's just playing at a really, really high level right now.
Right. So
he should be the favorite to win the Heisman.
Right,
so they got 4 ranked wins, more than anybody in the country. By the way, you can make an argument for them being number 1.
And I thought they were going to jump to number 1, to be honest with you. But the Georgia game is going to be important. But the last time that they won a championship with T. Martin, they didn't win with Peyton Manning. People keep forgetting that. That team was they just hit every, they hit and went through every speed bump, and they just kept winning close games. Yeah, they were winning. They beat some teams up, not many, but they won close.
Arkansas was a fumble away from potentially losing, if you remember that.
Yeah, and so some people forget that sometimes it's not the team with the best quarterback. Sometimes it's a team that plays together well and has everybody playing well together. I mean, Tennessee did this to Alabama without the number 1 wide receiver. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and they beat Florida without this guy too. There's a good chance he's going to be back by the time they get to Georgia. Now, I will say this, not to get too far ahead of myself.
No, let's not.
Kentucky has a first-round draft pick too. They have a bye this week. I think they're going to give Tennessee a little bit of problem early. I think Tennessee will pull away from them. But Levis is considered a first-round draft pick. They've got a pretty good running back there. That will be in Knoxville, though, so I think Tennessee will win that game. The next 2 weeks after this week will say a lot. If they take care of Kentucky without any major issue, if it's like an LSU game where it's not a big strain, but if it goes in like overtime or something, I don't think it will, but I'm just saying, if that doesn't happen, I could see them beating Georgia. I've already read some future bets. They're about 11.5-point underdog to Georgia. I actually locked one in for $5. I don't think they're 11.5. But that'll definitely be one of our biggest talking points coming up in 2 weeks. If everything stays whole and there's no major injuries, between now and Georgia, because that's going to be that could be a number 1 and number 3 game. That's like a playoff game, man.
Right. So like Kentucky has to play UT and Georgia, those are the top ranked teams left. Right.
Yeah.
So they have to win against Tennessee if they want to get any near shot of to go to the top ranks. Yeah, and then
No, I don't think they have the depth for it.
No, they don't have the depth. They have a great team.
Their line is not as good as Tennessee. Tennessee's offensive line, I want to say this and we can move on. They did a really good job. I watched that last play that Hooker, that strike he threw.
Mm-hmm.
He had about 3 to 4 seconds there. It wasn't a quick release. That line was really holding up well. Maybe they're just simply wearing defenses out where guys are wearing down because they're running such fast plays. They're like Oregon a few years ago, except they have a really good passing game.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Kelly.
And I told you when we were on the phone last Friday, I was like, this is a make it break deal for Hooker, and also I didn't know Bryce Young was gonna play, but even Young for the Heisman, right? The ball's in their court and they got to make do, and it was a good game. It was a great game.
Yeah, and that shoulder wasn't that big a deal to me. He was making all kinds of plays, Bryce Young.
He just kept, they kept coming back, and because Saban teams won't quit when they're behind, which is testament to Saban and how he coaches. And so when I saw them coming back in the second half, I was like, no, this is not good.
Oh, I thought about turning it off a few times, man, especially when they fumbled for a touchdown. Was that late in the third quarter when Tennessee gave that fumble up? And then when Alabama was about to kick that field goal, I was about to turn it off and play this Contra game on Sega and get my mind off of it, but they ended up missing the field goal.
Look, that was a knuckleball, right?
And then that knuckleball, the kick heard around the state of Tennessee and the world of college football, like the guy said on CBS the other night. So, yeah, I think it's going to be good. Let's get on with this week. Okay, let's stay in the state of Tennessee. Now, Tennessee's coming off a bye week. The Colts are on a hot streak right now. They beat Denver. They beat Kansas City. They beat Jacksonville. Put 30 on Jacksonville after being shut out down there in Jacksonville. The Colts, plus they're going to get what's his name back? Jonathan Taylor's going to be back. I like this Deion Jackson guy, running back. He's good in the flat. And
but they're playing in Tennessee, right?
They're playing in Tennessee. The games always seem to be closer for the Titans in Tennessee for whatever reason. But for Tennessee's sake, they seem to be getting healthier. This Hendon Hooker, or not Hendon Hooker. I think his name is like Alani Hooker. Got a lot of hookers going on here. Just the football players. The other hookers probably. But anyways, he's going to be back. It looks like Tennessee's healthy. I like Tennessee to win this game. They're about 3-point favorites at home, but I can see it going another way. I like Tennessee 27-24. Oh, by the way, Shaq Leonard, their main linebacker, he's out again. Mm-hmm. This Kathy Payne or whatever, Kiddu Payne, another defensive player is out. I think Tennessee wins. I just hope they don't go in their half step and think they got this game won.
That's the thing, man. That's the problem right now. They're going to be at home. They had the bye week. I feel like it's going to be 27-24, but Tennessee will win. They'll gut it out. They'll give us
we picked the same score. Yeah, that's me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, they'll slowly remember that they're actually at home and remember that they got to win because this is a conference game, a division game. So it's like, it would
be huge for Tennessee to win because remember they've already beat them up there.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the downfall, this backsliding of Jacksonville, and Houston is still Houston. They're still in rebuilding stage. This would be big for
this is what this is also a big deal for Vrabel. He got to come out and set the tone for the team. Have them just hit Matty Ice, man. Hit him. He's not going to go nowhere. He'll stay in the pocket. So you got to hit him. The opportunity to get your young guys, hot and ready and get going and get some hits on them. It's not that I don't like Matty Ice, but it's just that, he ain't gonna quit either. So he's competitive. So you got to get him. You got to go in there and try to hit him. You got to get him moving. You got to get him outside the pocket. You're gonna try to run the ball, but this is better. This is better for Henry than it is for Taylor, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Taylor's really better on carpet than he is on grass, even though he's not bad on grass.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Henry's I feel like he's better on grass than on carpet. On turf. So Tennessee 27-24.
Yeah. I think Tennessee's going to win this game. Dino Autry, former Colts, playing really well. The defensive line. This Truitt guy, Bud Dupree's back. Tennessee's defensive line has actually held up pretty well. They're getting a lot of sacks, considering the fact that they lost Landry just before the season started.
And I told you, Robert, like it's a well-coached team. They're well-balanced on both sides of the ball. And the thing is that these young guys have to get in more than ever, have to get the time on the field. And they're doing that, and they're doing a pretty good job, right? So, that's important for them to keep going so that they can make it to a playoff run and maybe to deeper in, because you got to get that depth, right? You got to build on that depth. So I told people not to worry. I don't know why everybody got in the
you was I feel like you was a little too optimistic, but I'll say this: Green Bay back in 2010 had a boatload of injuries, very similar to what Tennessee's had, and they won the Super Bowl. Now this guy I work with saying, well, Aaron Rodgers, Tannehill's not Aaron. I say I know that, but Tannehill is a veteran, and he's got a quicker release this year. He's more decisive with the ball. He's actually playing better statistically than he was at this point last year. And a lot of people's not paying attention to that because they're not making the big splashy plays because of A.J. Brown is playing elsewhere.
Right. And I said that to you, right? If Tannehill doesn't play to past his potential, he will no longer be a backup option for any team in the NFL once Tennessee cuts out of this contract. So he has to play out, because if not, nobody's going to want him. That's just the reality,
Maybe. Well, we'll see how it plays out. I still think Tennessee wins. I just hope they don't go in there. There's supposed to be I was reading something, some kind of appreciation day for former Titans from back in the day. They're supposed to have some kind of little get together, or what do you call ceremony pregame. So I hope they're not too much caught up into that nonsense and they blow this game. I kind of got that little bit of doubt. I don't think so. I think they'll run the ball well and win, but you can kind of see things like that happening with a team like Tennessee, a team that lost at home off of bye week, and they lost their opener to the Giants this past year. So that's something to look at.
Barely. Come on, barely.
Yeah.
Anyways,
hey man.
They
barely won the week before last against Washington.
All right, so the most important thing is that the offense sets the tone in this game, scoring fast and scoring points, because they're coming off the bye week. The defense usually sets the tone for Tennessee, but this week it has to be the offense. Henry has to be in there. Tannehill has to be in there. They got to make sure they score 14 points ASAP. Like as soon as possible, for sure.
And to their defense, I want to say I read something that they score first on the first possession, every possession this year. So they're actually getting off the fast start. Even against Buffalo, they didn't do much else after that. Buffalo cleaned their clock, but they did score early in that first drive. So they are putting together good game plans. Anywho, let's stick in the South, man. A lot of people won't think this is a big game. I do. I think Jacksonville got off to a really good start. They had the best team in the league record-wise on the ropes, 14-0 Philadelphia, and they blew that. Week before that, they shut out the Colts, who have beat Denver and Kansas City, and went on a little bit of a tear themselves. And, of course, now they've kind of slid back a little bit. That's growing pains.
Growing pains, for sure, yeah.
I think they've lost, 3 straight now. They're 2 and what are they like? 2 and 3, 2 and 4. 2 and 4. And now they're playing a red-hot Giants team. This is in Jacksonville. As bad as the Jacksonville has looked, their run defense is still holding up at 3rd third run defense. We know that is the main thing that the Giants do is those little runs where they're seducing the defense to are trying to make them. It's kind of smoke and mirrors.
And there's smoke and mirrors. That's not kind of
mirrors. Yeah, well, you think you're going one way, and then you go the other way, and then you got Saquon Barkley with the big run here. I don't know if they're going to fall for that. This is in Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville gets motivated at home and pulls off a low-scoring 17-14 win. Ooh. But I gotta, you gotta give Giants a lot of credit. Beating Baltimore, beating Green Bay. At some point, you think they're going to come down to earth a little bit.
I've been waiting for that since game one. Like they've got a team that is like, I would say when they first were graded, the NFL grades came out, they were like ranked 26, 27?
In run defense?
No, and as far as the team to come out at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. So and that team hadn't changed, people. They didn't get nobody new.
Yeah.
They just Daniel Jones has been playing well because he's being coached better, but you can tell that he is still Daniel Jones. He's no Mahomes and he's no Aaron Rodgers. And so, Barkley's actually picking up his slack because he's making big runs and making, and taking the heat off of Jones. And that's what good teammates do. That's what good running backs do when they know that, on the other side, it's a little bit, it's a little bit unbalanced. Not to say that Daniel Jones is a terrible quarterback, but he's not a great quarterback. Right. So, it is what it is. The Giants are the Giants. And I'm happy right now where they're at, but I don't feel positive about where they're going just because they're winning. A lot of teams have gone 5-0 and haven't gone to a playoff before. It's not something new. It's not new territory in the NFL. So I feel like the Jets and the Giants, their luck is about to turn. And look, this is a young Jacksonville team that's fast, that is going to be at home, that has been hit in the face. So now they're ready to grow.
They're on a little bit of and they don't have a lot of injuries. I can see guys like Walker, the other Josh Allen, really stepping their game up. That run defense there, I could see them being motivated at home and really playing well. They're not going to take the Giants lightly.
No,
I mean the Giants are 5-1 now.
The Giants need to watch out because this is what happens when teams are overrated and overranked, right? A team like Jacksonville comes and be like, "Yo, we was winning, we got hit in the face, and now now they're going to retaliate to the next team, and the Giants are the next team." I see this also 24-21, something like that. Maybe what you're saying.
You like the Giants?
No, I think Jacksonville at home. You can only keep a good quarterback down so much, and that ain't Daniel Jones. Yeah. That's the guy on the other side of the field. So,
and I will say this: what was his name? Pittman. Pittman had about 13 catches against the Jaguar defense, 160 something yards. The Giants got 3 wide receivers. Those same 3 guys have been out again, and at some point. Now, if Jones can hit some of these guys deep, there is a weakness there on the back end. And I'm sure the ball's going to figure this out. He's a really smart, clever coach. He's going to have to roll Jones out. He's going to get some shot plays downfield. I don't know who that person is going to be, a no-name wide receiver, somebody we've never heard of, somebody you may be familiar with that's on the bench there.
Practice team.
Not Galladay, not Sterling Shepard, and not who's the other guy?
Tony.
Who?
Tony?
Yeah, Kadarius Toney is not going to be the other 3. Those 3 guys have already been ruled out. I don't know who he's going to throw to, but he'll find somebody. That's how they're going to win. But this Jacksonville team does have a good pass rush. It could be close, though. I'm thinking 17-15.
You got the Giants winning by 8 away?
No, Pickles has. He's thinking the Giants are like they were back in the day where they played really good on the road. And
I don't know, man.
So far at home. They're playing good everywhere this year.
They're playing good everywhere, but you know what? This is what happens is they're catching these guys slacking after coming out of halftime, and they're coming back almost 21 points.
That's
plus.
Right. They were down the Baltimore game, right?
Yeah, third, fourth quarter, they're working their way up. Like they're getting the second win while the other team's already on the third win, and it's not matching up. So the Giants are looking better because they're a little bit younger, right?
Yeah.
But this is the NFL, man. Eventually, these teams start catch up. So Jacksonville they're no little, they're nobody to. I think they have a nice balanced team that can beat the Giants. So we'll see.
Yeah,
but I said
the
that
Giants could win.
I said that about Baltimore, and Baltimore let me down. So whatever.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that.
It's terrible. It was
Pickle
terrible.
says Lawrence will get sacked 4 times now. That's he's had some protection issues, but they do have a good 1-2 punch there with ETN and James Robertson in the slot with those little screen passes that they like to do and little dump downs and everything. This is going to be an interesting game. That's why I brought it up,
So are you going to watch this? Are you going to watch this game?
I will. Dude, there's some star power here. Plus, the Giants are 5-1.
That's what it is. That's what it is. We want to see if the Giants are for real. But this is not a team to test the Giants. Whether they're good or not.
Well, I know that they're talented. I know Jacksonville's talented, and I could see them being motivated for this. I think
their coach is going to have them ready. Their coach is going to have them ready. So
yeah, and plus Peterson used to coach in that division. I just think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah,
I
mean, the only thing that's
there's a lot of storylines to this game, man.
The one thing that bothers me is that it's not going to be high scoring that we think it is. It's going to be a grueling running play.
17-14, maybe 21-18 or something.
What if the special teams muffs this up for the Giants, bro? Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh my,
I'm sure Mac is really happy. I'm sure he thinks the Giants are going to win again.
Oh, he's like J-Pags thinking the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
They're going 17-0 to hear Jamie say it. So
I heard Jamie Pags talk about the Eagles are going to start a dynasty like Dallas.
Oh God.
Well, yeah, maybe a TV show, whatever.
The TV show. That's funny, actually. Okay, so you like Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville at home. Pickles likes Giants by 8 points. You'd be on really cloud 9 if the Giants win by 8. It could happen. It's Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the Giants have those young linebackers, and that O-line is hitting people in the mouth. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know if it's enough, man. You got to score points in this league. At the end of the day, and Daniel Jones ain't scoring a lot. Barkley's scoring points, but Daniel Jones ain't scoring that many.
I think they're going to hold Barkley in place there, and I just think the Jacksonville's going to be really motivated this week.
I think so. And they're at home, man. They can't be losing at home too much.
Yeah. I say this, and they go down there and roll Jacksonville. So let's move on. Staying in the state of New York. Okay, the Jets are playing at Denver. The Jets are playing really well. They're skilled players. Other than Elijah Moore, what is your take on that? He wants out of town now. He's not being used. My thing is, don't go too much drafting too many wide receivers high and giving a big contract in free agency. Like who was it? Rodgers or Davis? Who's the guy?
For who?
The Jets got for Corey Davis. They paid a lot of money.
They pay a lot of money to a lot of people. The one they sent to Adams? The one they sent to Seattle?
No, the Corey Davis, the wide receiver.
No, it was the guy who just got traded to Arizona. Robbie?
No, that's years ago. I can see you're not following Jets that much nowadays. Corey Davis, who was the other guy? Elijah Moore. He was a second round pick.
You talking about the wide receiver from Tennessee?
Tennessee, yeah.
Yeah, Corey. Yeah, I know Corey Davis.
Corey Davis. Well, he's a lead receiver right now. Garrett Wilson.
He should be. He's getting paid the most money.
He's a very good route runner out of Ohio State. He was their first round pick this year. Their second round pick last year. That's 3 too many right there. Right. Now Moore wants out of town. The second round pick out of Ole Miss. He's going to be a healthy scratch this week. So he can find himself, is what Robert Saleh says, where he wants to play or not. What do you think about that?
Again, the Jets are, as much as they're talented and young and fast, they they don't have an OC that's worth a name on in any piece of paper, man. LaFleur is like his brother. They just copycatting the Shanahan system, and they hoping for the best, and they get in the worst. Look, that system doesn't work for those kids. You got to use their talent, and that goes for sure. This is a good example of what's happening over there. That you have a talented wide receiver who you've given a healthy scratch to because you can't figure out how to use him because he doesn't fit in the system that's not good anyways. And you're still working with that project quarterback, so it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Wilson has to play well. Moore's not going to get an opportunity to play, and that's what you get when you have someone who's still green in the NFL and is an OC and LaFleur. So, you got to deal with your demons, and that's one of the problems that the Jets have. They might be sound because Saleh's was a good defensive coordinator, and he's good. He's okay coaching them right now. Yeah. But you still got to score points in this league, and they don't know how to do that. So, they've been lucky. They've been doing all right
last week, man. 17-point win.
Yeah, but what did they the last 2 weeks? What have they been doing that they haven't been doing the first few weeks? Was running the ball, right?
Yeah, they're getting the ball to Bryce. What's his name? Bryce Hall in the flat.
Yeah,
and Michael Carter, the other running back. Those guys are playing pretty well.
They're quick. The problem, they're both quick. So the O-line's doing a decent job giving them help to get them in the second level, and they can use the speed and then also break on the outside, and it's helping also Wilson, make dink and dunk throws as well. But that's not the Shanahan system if you think about it.
Yeah.
So he's forced to try to play an offense, and because he's running the ball, he's forgetting that he's got so much talent sitting on the bench as well.
Yeah.
So there's no balance in that offense.
Both sides.
There's no balance at all. So
now Russell Wilson's got a hamstring injury. He's supposed to be a game time decision, but he's play. I think my guess is he's going to play. And man, Denver desperately needs this game, and they still got a really good defense. I just don't see him finding a way to screw this up. They could lose this game. Well, they could. They beat this team 26-0 last year. The Jets. They came to Denver last year under Teddy Bridgewater. They need this game really bad in Denver, but I do think it's close. Now, if Wilson scratches and they put this Ripken guy in, I think the Jets win this game. But I think Wilson's going to play, and I think Denver is going to find a way to win, probably 16-20. It's not going to be an exciting game. Look, it could go the other way. If Wilson scratches, I think it'll go the other way.
Yeah, and you have a point there. And listen, we saw a little bit of old Russell Wilson last week, right? It was good to see that. Yeah. See him make throws, see him run the ball, and that's what you want to see from him. And we were hoping that to get Denver was hoping to get a win out of there. We were hoping to see Russell Wilson get that win, just to kind of lay that unbalancing act and keep it going in the AFC West. I read a
stat that he gets sacked more out of the shotgun than under center, so they've got to see that on the film. There's something with that. They're going to have to play him more out of center and roll him out some. He claims that hamstring's going to be okay, but we'll see. He's got a lot of pressure. They're booing him in their own stadium. He's got a $200 million contract.
I mean, listen, they did okay last week. It was good to see him play that game last week.
That is true. Considering he's playing a very talented Charger team.
An okay talented team. But
Bosa was out. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Gordon the third. I don't know what's up with him. They got the running back from.
He's been having fumble problems. He's going to start this week.
I mean, that's their biggest problem right now is that there's nothing to balance out what Russell Wilson can do. Because the wideouts are young and fast. They still kind of missing a couple, throws here and there that are important. They still not always converting on the third down. The Chargers forced them into an overtime last week. So, man, how many more games is it going to take?
Yeah. Oh, I think they'll struggle offensively, but I think the motivation is going to be very strong for them to win, and they've got the firepower to do it. It's not going to be an exciting game. It could be 19-12 the other way. It could be 19-12 Jets there. And then Pickle says Hackett will get fired.
You know what? I don't want to say this, and I know nobody wants to hear this. This game is going to be falling depending on the kickers.
Yeah, and I always hated that.
So
it's not going to be an exciting game. Well, they've still got a good secondary up there, even though Ron Darby's out.
That defense,
Gardner's a good player. This is a second road game for the Jets too. What's the people's not? They went to Green Bay. They went back to New York. Now they got to go all the way to Denver. I think I'd see the Jets being a little fatigued playing this game in Mile High like that.
I'm sure if they lose, they'll blame it on fatigue.
Well, I'm just saying it's not easy going.
It's not
like Denver after going off a long road trip.
Well, and then look, you're going like time zones. You're going forward time zone, back time zones, forward again time zones, and then you're playing in elevation. So Denver has to win this game. They have to set the tone.
The Hackett Hackett is that noise is gonna be much louder. You got national guys like Colin Coward saying he's over his head. I'm sure the local radio guys, your Mark Sheriff guys are hinting at Hackett not going to.
They're already mad that Rodgers isn't on the team, so they're already on that hoo-ha. Let's fire Hackett. So,
well, I think Denver finds a way. Just like I told you a few weeks ago, I thought that the Raiders were so desperate that they would knock out Denver, and they did. They knocked out Denver at home.
That's terrible.
And you picked. I always look at desperation, and there's still enough talent there to win that game. Okay, this game doesn't really seem like a big game, but both of these teams are 3-3. Atlanta at Cincinnati. Remember, Atlanta beat the 49ers last week, and they were right there with Tampa too before that.
But what I say to you, watch out for Atlanta. They're not that bad, right?
Yeah, Dean Pease is doing a good job. This Grady Jarrett's a good defensive lineman. Marcus Mariota, he's kind of like the Daniel Jones of the Falcons, where they're using his speed and elusiveness. Both of them are fool's gold, but they're finding ways to get things done.
One of them got a Heisman, the other one don't.
As a pro, they're about the same guy. Come on, man.
Mariota carried the Titans to a playoff. Almost twice.
Mariota's consistently inconsistent.
Yeah, but okay, at least again.
And he's hurt all the time.
Again, so here's the thing, though. Mariota and Daniel Jones both had 4 coordinators in the span that they were quarterbacking.
They both are consistently inconsistent, good athletes. They're the same guy.
No way, man.
Except Jones didn't go to Oregon and play under
Dude, come on.
Play in that Oregon system, man.
Where did Daniel Jones play?
Well, he played for Duke. But this is a pretty good game, guys. I think this is going to be a much closer game than people are saying. I think Atlanta keeps it close. I think it's probably like a 30-24 Cincinnati win. Cincinnati wins, but Atlanta covers that half a point there. What do you think about Atlanta-Cincinnati? 2 games, 2 teams that are tied for first place in their divisions.
Right, and Atlanta is at Cincinnati, right?
Pickles thinks it's Cincinnati by 18. That could be if a lot of turnovers, but Arthur Smith's doing a good job, man. And Dean Pease is doing a good job as a defensive coordinator there, too.
I don't know, man. That's high. That's high, Pickles.
He's thinking of previous Atlanta teams who were terrible on the road.
You know what? I think I have a feeling that Atlanta's going to be competitive.
I do too.
I think this game is going to be
really well coached defensively.
I think this game is going to be like that Jets game, the Jets and Denver game. It's going to be close. It's going to be ugly. You know why I say that? Because Atlanta's going to be looking to sack the quarterback because they know they can, right? Yeah. They know they're young and fast, and they're gonna make him throw the ball. And Jamar Chase, he's either gonna have a great game or a terrible game. Yeah, he's not consistent right now at all.
Well, I do like Cincinnati to win this game, but I just got a feeling Atlanta's gonna keep it interesting.
Yeah,
it's gonna be one of those games where it's gonna be a lot more interesting than people think it's gonna be. Kansas City. They're playing at San Francisco. San Francisco, let me note this for the audience here. because I know they've had a lot of injuries. But Nick Bosa's going to be back. Trent Williams going to be back. Jimmy Ward, they're not even on the injury report. But I still like Kansas City. This is going to be a really good game. I still like Kansas City to win, even with all those players back. Christian McCaffrey may play too for San Francisco. This reminds me of the Super Bowl a little bit, maybe 27-23 Kansas City. Very close game, much closer than people think. That's my prediction. What do you think about Kansas City at San Francisco Saturday afternoon?
Kansas City just lost to the Bills. So they're not going to try to lose again because they need to keep it interesting in the West.
Yeah.
And they need their record to be high. This is San Francisco Super Bowl right here. If they can beat Kansas City, they're going to be in a top tier. If they can't, then pack it in because it's going to be a shorter, long season.
And this could come down to a field goal the other way and go in favor of San Francisco.
He brought in the kicking game.
Well, I mean, Robbie Gould's pretty good, but now I like Butner better for Kansas City. But Kansas City's coming off a loss too. I like Kansas City's run defense.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting McDuffie back, another cornerback. I like their pass, and they could go up there and beat San Francisco pretty good. But I think Frisco's going to be ready for them, and they're going to be pretty motivated coming off that Atlanta loss last week. Plus, they're getting healthy.
Yeah, but I think the loss against the Bills has a bigger effect and more of a motivator for Kansas City than San Francisco losing to Atlanta. So,
well, that's probably the two best teams in the league last week. Is Buffalo, Kansas City.
Look,
that was like a Super Bowl playoff.
So check this out. So you got Reed versus Shanahan.
Yeah,
who usually wins that battle?
They don't play that much, man.
Exactly. So, Reed controls the clock.
Did you just be honest here? Now, who did you pick in that Super Bowl?
For which one?
When they played back in 19. San Francisco or KC?
They just beat Tennessee for that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went with the AFC.
Okay. Yeah, I did too. A lot of people were picking San Francisco. That's why I asked you. I picked KC too.
No, because I saw them beat a decent Tennessee team. They came back to beat Tennessee actually. So, it's Mahomes, man. Mahomes just.
Yeah, my thing is you can't hold that offense down too long.
Right, right. That's the thing.
They're going to find ways. Now they don't quite have that speed of Hill, but I still like Miko Hartman and Valdez Scantling. I can't wait to watch the strategy, the offense versus the San Francisco defense. Now that Bosa's back,
and you're going to see here is like what Reed does very well. Is
that's about right, Pickles. That's what I said.
Reed will control the clock, but but the team can also score fast.
Yeah.
So they have the advantage over Cincinnati over the 49ers. The 49ers can't do both. They can't control the clock and they can't score fast. They either got to do one or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like Kansas City 27-23. Who do you like?
Yeah, something like that.
KC too. Okay. I think that is all. We're right at the end of the hour. Okay, UCLA, they're undefeated.
I know that's going to be a good game.
Top 10 Oregon team. Chip Kelly playing his former team up in Eugene, Oregon.
Can Nick take Oregon? Can he bring him? Can he take him to the promised land?
I've never trusted that guy, even at Auburn. At quarterback, I know they've played well since they got the crap beat out of them to Georgia week 1. Who they beat? BYU. I want to say Washington or somebody. They've really got everything squared away. But UCLA, they beat Utah. They beat Washington. What's his name? Doran Thompson Robertson.
Oh, my goodness.
He's an 88.5 QBR. Really good rushing ability. Really good passing ability. He's close to Hendon Hooker as far as playing well. He's not as good as Hooker, but he's playing really good football right now. I actually think UCLA goes up there and upsets these guys straight up.
At home.
They're 6.5-point favorites Oregon is at home.
Right.
UCLA, the 6.5-point dog, pulls off a big-time upset. Chip Kelly goes back to his old stomping grounds. He's lost the last two to Oregon, but I think he knocks out Oregon, even though Oregon went down there and beat UCLA last year at UCLA. But this UCLA team's playing well.
Yeah, the under 75 points. 70 points. 7.5.
Yeah, that's a lot. I don't know about the over. It was 34-31 last year. Maybe it'd probably go over 65. I don't know about 70-something points. I don't know if it'll be Tennessee, Alabama.
Stay with the under on that one.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly stay with the under, but I really like the quarterback.
I feel like whoever scores first will start scoring more. The other team will play catch up, but won't catch back up.
So you've watched Nix when he played with Auburn. Do you think he can outscore this Dorian Green Robertson guy with Chip Kelly?
It's that defense though is pretty quick, man. That Oregon defense, the secondary is pretty fast.
They're coached by a defensive minded head coach. He's the former defensive coordinator of Georgia.
It's going to be a good challenge. That's going to be a good game. That's my game of the week.
Pickle says it's too that's my favorite game of the college week. I know that Oklahoma State is playing TCU, but this game is good though. This is the biggest game.
Yeah, nah.
I think so.
I think Oregon wins at home, but by a safety or a field goal, man.
Okay. I'm gonna take UCLA, man. I like UCLA to go up there and get the upset. So you've heard it there, folks. Do you got anything you want to add? We are out of any games on your mind that you're interested in.
I think Alabama comes and makes Mississippi State look really, really terrible. They're going to be so mad that they lost to Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
That's not going to be a fun game to watch. I mean,
well, they did beat up on Mississippi State last year. Now, this one's in Alabama. And, let me say this. And the quarterback for Alabama played really well, man. Young, he's playing like a guy that's going to be the number one pick, possibly.
He can't get hit like that, though. He can't keep getting hit.
But he's got a quick snap release. He took some hits.
He took a lot of hits.
Played well. I really like that Jabari Gibbs guy. Man, there's a little controversy with that receiver with hitting that woman like that. I don't know what Saban's going to do about that situation. I also read that a Tennessee fan, two men argued over the Tennessee-Alabama game in Florence, Alabama. One guy shot into another guy's home. Probably an Alabama fan.
Come on, people.
It ain't that serious.
No. Hey, I'm making a trip down there. We need to get together.
Yeah. I got you, man.
Couple weeks.
We'll go to the national championship game together.
No. I mean, in a few weeks.
Yeah. We'll go to the Georgia game. We'll go on the field. I'll get a
this guy.
Yeah, right. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. I'll see you hopefully next week, right? You gonna be on the program?
Yeah, I might be there. That's what I'm saying. We do the program live, bro.
Yeah, we'll go out and get something to eat or something. I appreciate you, Pickles. Pickle says Bama by 44.
You close. Maybe by 33 or something.
Pickle says it's just a game, guys. LOL. Yeah. Now I will say this: Alabama did cover that point spread last year. They're about 21-point favorites this year. I may take Alabama minus 21.
Yeah. Thank you, Pickles.
Yeah. Have a good night, guys. Thanks, Pickles. Thanks, Carlos.
Happy Friday, guys.
All right, buddy. You too.